It's what?
I said Malcolm alleged that some of Elijah's women were underage secretaries, and can you expound on that?
Yeah, well, I guess they were because they were there. I seen them. I seen them myself. It's all true. It's all true.
Good evening, messenger. You convinced us that you were the last messenger. How many other bastard children do you have?
You're watching America This Morning, America's #1 early morning.
Time after time after time, we are watching murderers go free. They hide behind their badges, they hide behind their white privilege, and they use the excuse that they fear for their lives to murder our young people in cold blood.
It's done.
Eggs, my brother.
No. Don't think about it.
All you self-righteous assholes do is march and destroy your own communities. Killing me won't change a goddamn thing.
It's a lot different when it's a grown black man standing his ground.
Barbershop conversation, guys. Checks and balances, 9 Wise. Go to www.silentheroFilms.com, man. And thank you guys for tuning in. And it's a lot to unpack in that Blue Blood interview. Thank you, Blue Blood, for the interview. We'll break it down. I'm just chilling watching football for the rest of the day, and I'm definitely watching that Chocolatito Estrada fight, man. You know, Chocolatito is definitely not Floyd Mayweather, but man, he gives you it from an entertainment perspective. He gives you, man, my heavens, man, his entertainment value is so high. So I'm sit back and enjoy that fight tonight while I'm watching the Michigan game, and hopefully Michigan wins, and then we off get the number 2 seed, and we'll be playing Georgia again, not in the semifinals, but in the national championship game. You know, we wasn't good enough to beat them last year, but we'll see. But anyways, man, let's jump into it. He said something real interesting. Blue Bud said, "You're letting the cat out the bag, man." I'm going to make this as close to a quote as possible. He said that Spence and Crawford could be on BLK Prime. Now, what he said in a different interview, which I'll talk about later, is that in the same interview, in a different space in the interview, was I'm old enough to remember when Richard Schaefer had the money, then Al Heyman, and now BLK Prime. So that's basically saying that PBC and Al Heyman don't have the money to do what they need to do with this fight, and that's true. Al Heyman doesn't have the resources to put on this fight. Resources meaning from top to bottom, from the promotion of the fight to the actual fight and the guarantees itself. I saw Earl got some PR today. He did the coin toss for TCU. I guess Earl was bad luck. Man, they were robbed though, man. That running back on that third down play crossed the goal and they didn't review it. but yeah, man, that's great PR for the state of Texas, and also for Earl Spence as a whole, man, to be a part of this college football environment. Now, you guys know how I feel about this situation. If you're not going to put on the fight yourself, if Spence and Crawford are not going to put on the fight themselves, then And Earl said on my show he doesn't have the first clue as to how to put on the fight. And I said, hey, you just should have contacted me, because it's not hard. It's just the manpower, and the seed money and the manpower and the infrastructure. But outside of that, it's fairly easy to put on a fight like Spence Crawford. Now, if you're talking about Ramirez versus Mike Williams, whoever he is, then that's more challenging. But Spence Crawford, it's already sold out. You got 400,000 to 500,000 pay-per-views in the bag. Your job is to get the other 500,000. And so that fight is fairly easy and fairly set, What I would do, I'm gonna be candidly honest with you, because Earl Spence is not fighting Keith Thurman, and I believe he only wants to make 147 one more time. I don't believe. Oh, my camera's off a little bit. I don't believe that he wants to make 147 twice by how he's moving. Like there's not much energy. He hasn't even responded to Keith Thurman. Usually he'll come out and just blaze Keith Thurman, and he hasn't. He's just been calm and promoting his fighter Frank Martin. And that is December 17th. I'm looking forward to that fight, man. December 17th. And then looking excited for that fight. But since they're not going to put on the fight themselves, I would suggest that Earl Spence inquire with BLK Prime. And that way, and you say why? I'm gonna use myself as an example. I knew I wasn't going to sign with if you follow me on Instagram and you seen it while I was doing these films, you guys saw big time apps coming after me for my films. I just negotiated with them for practice so I can become a better negotiator. I didn't negotiate with them to sign. I just wanted to get better. And if you knew me prior to this, you know that I turned down ESPN and a handful of other studios out here, small, big, large, not Time Warner, Warner Brothers, and I did a meeting with Netflix and so on and so forth, man. So there's been a handful of interviews that I've done just to do the interviews, and I play the part and I say no thank you at the end. And the reason why I say that is, even if Earl doesn't want to sign with BLK Prime, it will make him a better negotiator as a promoter. And these negotiations experience is far and in between. They don't come every day, That's what I would suggest. I don't know if he's going to the fight. I would suggest that he go to the fight, because it puts more money in his pocket at the end of the day. The more engagement between Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford, the more pay-per-views it sells. And if you're thinking of it from a last name perspective, and I think it's a drive. Is it a drive or a fly? How do you get from Omaha to Texas? Because I remember he drove to Oklahoma, so I don't really know. Let's check. I'm curious. Omaha, Nebraska to Dallas, Texas. Let's see how far that is. I'm just curious. Drive from Dallas to Omaha. Well, 9 hours and 50 minutes, 658 miles. Fly. Hour and 50 minutes. $282 round trip. That $282 would give Earl Spence probably make him about $500,000. For real. And merchandise sale, if he's still selling Man Down shirts and clicks on the I mean, in terms of clicks on the internet, it'll probably be worth about $5 million. I'm gonna do a video on it. People gonna retweet, repost, and Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm thinking from a business perspective. I really don't have an ego when it comes to business, because I put what I do for a living is I'm a handyman, so that tells you that I'm prideless, and I do it to keep my lights on, so so I would suggest that they engage somehow, some way for this fight, because neither one of them are like must see TV, Uh, so the more engagement the more engagement they can have with each other, the better. But I'm curious to see, will they do a campaign for Earl Spence, Terrence Crawford? They got to tread lightly because they got to sell pay-per-views for Avenetian. You get what I'm saying? So you don't want to make this thing like, oh man, this fight is a wash. You shouldn't buy a fight where Terrence Crawford has no chance at losing. So you got to tread lightly. So I genuinely would suggest, think that they would throw a bag out publicly in the post-fight press conference, as it pertains to this fight, because Al Heyman is just an advisor. He can't stop you from making a living. And matter of fact, Al Heyman can't take Earl Spence to court. Earl Spence can literally do what he wants to do and sign his own contract, because if he took Earl Spence to court, every other fighter would defect. Yeah, every other fighter would defect, because if Al Heyman's taking him to court, that means that the fighters are going to side with the fighters. And Adrien Broner said it eloquently. Whoa, we going to the house. We got a game, 24-36, Southern Jackson State. And that's a whole nother conversation about it's a whole nother reason why y'all better start valuing your last name. I'm uncertain if Deion Sanders is going to Colorado, but Deion Sanders convinced the number one recruit in America to come to Jackson State. And now he's going to Colorado, when he told that recruit, hey, come to Jackson State. Hey, forget going to Florida and getting all those resources and playing as a freshman in a big time conference. Come here. You know what I mean? It's not as important as supporting what we're building over here. And then he goes to Colorado and gets $5 million. You get what I'm saying? So it's a touchy situation. And this is why I would tell Crawford and Spence, go get your money, mate. Go get your money. Did that sound Texas, mate? Go get your money, mate. And you guys know I'm big on the business of boxing. And but that's basically what I got to say, man. My opinion doesn't change about the fight. I think Earl Spence stops him. But I really want Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford to get this money. I really, really do, man, because no one's gonna care. I've never seen no one put $100,000 in Tommy Hearn's pocket. He doesn't have value anymore. I've never seen someone walk up to him and say, here's $100,000 just because you're Tommy Hitman Hearns. I've never seen it. So. But anyways, man, I'm interested to see what BLK Prime is going to do. They kind of let the cat out the bag. I genuinely believe that the spokesperson for BLK Prime will publicly offer Earl Spence money this week, because all eyes will be on Omaha in terms of the infrastructure in boxing and the promoters and the diehard fans, whether they buy it or whether they stream it, they will be watching. It's one of them fights where you want to see how it's put together, the presentation of it, and we'll see. So Barbershop Conversations, feel free to hit the subscribe button, and I just hope that Spence is at least what's the word I'm looking for? Advantageous, like advantageous to me, because when you look at what's going on the PBC side, Al Heyman, and dang, I'm glad I got this far. Thank you. Adrien Broner said what I've been telling y'all. Al Heyman is cornering. He's pressuring him, and he's hiding his hands. And hopefully Earl Spence sees that Al Heyman has made a deal with the WBA, made a deal with the WBC to mandate those fights. And he's telling Earl Spence, man, I done did everything I can do, man. I'm trying to get you to, I want you to stay active, yada, yada, yada. But when actually what he wants is, he wants to keep everything in-house. And this is why, another reason why you got to protect your last name. Nothing gets inside of Team Hawthorne. There's nothing. Lincoln, come here for a sec. We just gonna do some code because I need you to really understand. Come here, dude. I got a question for you. Come on this side so I can move the mic. What is the most important name in the world?
Hawthorne.
What's the most important name in the world?
Hawthorne.
Appreciate you, dog. That's the way I raise them. I don't raise them to love Haman. I don't raise them to love we don't worship no athletes in my house. We don't worship no entertainers. Their mother is a superhero. Mother saves black and brown lives every night. Every day she goes to work, she saves lives. Oh my God, he stepped out of bounds. If I could show you the cards, because I can't show them to you, but the cards that Dre gets from families, because she literally saved people's lives, and the gift cards and all that, and and then there's the flip side. Dre goes to a few funerals a year too, man, when she loses a kid, and she's been with the kid for 6 months. The kid has cancer, and they fighting every day. They fighting every day, and the kid succumbs to cancer, man. So it's both sides, but it outweighs it 10 to 11 to 1, the lives she saved versus 100 to 1 versus, so and so that's why I say this. There's no idol worshiping in my house. Mommy and daddy are superheroes, and that's the way we're going to live life. And just like Earl named his son after his father, and coincidentally, oh, that's illegal. There it is. And coincidentally, him and his son and his grandfather has the same birthday. So God don't make mistakes. So that's where I'm at with that, man. And the Clippers lost. Now I was gonna take Lincoln to that game. Oh man, 123-96. So anyways, I'm just rambling. Anyways, man, y'all have a great day. And I want Crawford and Spence to understand the most important name that they have is their last name. Fuck Al Heyman. Fuck BLK Prime. Who else is in this? Fuck Aaron. Y'all come up with a plan and get the bag. Don't you know that's what Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather did? I was there. It was a whole game. It was a whole play. It was a whole play. Dana White and Floyd played the whole American public, dog. Anyways, Floyd will tell y'all when he gets older how he played y'all. Anyways, barbershop conversations. Feel free, hit the subscribe button. I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.